man, what's going on? It's your boy Big Don bringing you another Car Chronicles video, telling you that don't listen to what you see online and on Twitter. Pokemon Champions is a lot of fun, and I actually highly recommend anybody play it, whether you're a beginner of Pokemon or you're someone who's played competitive for years. I wanted to make this video to talk about that because I've been playing Pokemon since the original Red and Blue. I got it for Christmas. I had a blast with it, and my brother got Blue, I got Red, and I think ever since then I've just enjoyed the series. I briefly played a little bit of competitive, like during Generation 4, which was Pokemon Diamond Pearl. I played online in these forums called Neo Seeker, and I had some experience. I kind of understood the basics of how the training worked and the different natures that influence your Pokemon stats. And I had a basic knowledge of competitive play. And jumping into Champions, I've just realized how much fun it is when you are allowed to just experiment with it. And it gives you that freedom to just be able to experiment. So one of the common complaints I've seen about Pokemon Champions is the lack of Pokemon. And that was something at first when I started playing, or when I first heard about it, I was like, man, I don't like that either. You only have, I believe, 189 Pokemon at the time of this recording, and that's a low amount compared to 1,000. But when you actually play the game, you realize it's a great idea, because having a small sample size that's going to change over time is going to make the game feel really refreshing and fun, because the Pokemon that you use are going to change. The quote-unquote meta is going to change. And you're going to see different Pokemon become relevant and irrelevant at different times. And that's going to cause that's going to make for a really fun, gameplay loop. You're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you're constantly trying to find, clever and new strategies to make the Pokemon that you have work. So that was, one of the big things. And it was yeah, we don't want to see, we think there's too little Pokemon. Now, one thing I do think that's a valid complaint is the lack of items. However, I've even grown to kind of like that a little bit, because once again, you're forced to play within the limitations that the game's given you. So instead of just playing your Pokemon the signature way it's been played for the past, 20 years or 30 years, you're now kind of forced into unique situations. And some Pokemon get hit harder than that. Some Pokemon have found new ways into relevancy. But it's just allowed for a really unique and flexible gameplay loop. Another complaint that I saw was talking about the game running at 30 frames per second. I am a performance snob at times, and even me, when you're playing a turn-based RPG, it does not matter when the game runs at 30 frames per second. A lot of issues they mentioned about Switch 2, I have not seen at all. It's been pretty stable to me. No performance, no delays, none of that stuff. Once again, I'll determine if that makes me feel uncomfortable, or if that's something that's a deal breaker, an issue for me. But didn't see any issues with the performance with the game at all. And maybe some of that stuff was fixed day one. But once again, when is the last time you played a game that was functional at launch? Pokemon or not. Even some of my favorite games of all time had horrendous launches. Battlefield 4, I'm looking at you. But the game is just very accessible to beginners, and that's something I want to harp on in the video, is that the game is so easy to just get into. You're provided with some Pokemon at the beginning, and those Pokemon are pretty solid. And as you see in my series that I'm going to be releasing after this video, I've been running pretty much the default teams, some of the default Pokemon, and even the default movesets. Very, 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 very littly modified. Literally is not a word, but I've been running Garchomp, I've been running Dragonite, and then I've been running Starmie, which I recruited through the recruitment system. But it is very easy to modify the Pokemon, and that was always the biggest problem with competitive Pokemon. And the main reason why I just gave up was that in order for you to get a Pokemon trained, the process was insane. You're breeding constantly to hope that your Pokemon is the right nature, and based on the nature, that determines if it gets a buff in one stat and a nerf in the other stat. So you're trying to go for a good nature. Then the next thing you're trying to do is hope that you have a good ability, the right ability. Some Pokemon have multiple abilities, and then on top of that, now you have to do EV training, which is literally fighting Pokemon that will boost this invisible stat that you can't see. And once you get a certain amount of points in that invisible stat, it'll actually buff like your regular points. So now you run into this thing where you're constantly just fighting and training just to get one Pokemon right and one moveset. When some of these Pokemon can have multiple ways they can be played, multiple movesets, multiple natures, multiple abilities. And just think about how time consuming that is. And you have to do that for at least 6 Pokemon. So that's just been one of those things. Like, the training system is so clutch. You just pick what stat you want to max, pick both your stats, pick your nature that you want, pick all the moves that you want, and then you pick the ability that they have, and boom, it's done in like 60 seconds. It's beautiful. And a lot of people complain too. I see like, oh, we wanted this to be like Pokemon Stadium. This game didn't promise to be a Pokemon Stadium. I think it will be nice in the future though, if they add CPU battles, right? Where you can play against the computer, and maybe there's like different cups and different trainers. I think that's something that the game would benefit from, but that's not what Pokemon Champions was promised to be anyways. We have the mainline games for that. So Pokemon Champions is completely competitive focus. But overall, like I said, I definitely recommend this game. It's just very easy to play. The battles are really fun. The game is way faster than any other Pokemon you played. And people aren't talking about that enough. Like, the way the turns work, like, everything's just really fast. In a lot of the older games, it would take a very long time. Like, you're planning the whole time. You're waiting for your opponent. You're just, like, sitting there. And the matches always feel very long and drawn out. But a lot of these matches, even these really competitive matches in Champions, I can finish within like 5 to 10 minutes per match. Either way, if you've ever been interested in just battling either with your friends, your ranked, your casual matches, this is the perfect entry for it. It's so fast-paced, and even though there's a couple things missing where a lot of people will say like they wish they had 6v6 in the singles. You only pick 3 Pokemon for the singles. I've actually grown to like that too. The 3v3 just makes for the format to be different, but I do think that the game should give you more options and flexibility in private matches. You ever remember in Super Smash Brothers how when you play, you can choose if you want items, no items, stages? Do you want hazards in the stages? Do you want teams? I would love for that. I would love for Champions to implement a lot of like customization in private matches. So if people want to choose to like make a competitive setting, or certain rule sets or certain Pokemon, they can do that in their private battles, and even be able to like share that rule set with other people. Like, oh, this is the official tournament rule set for dragons only, right? Not that that'd be a thing, but that'd be something I would really like to see. But overall, this game is super fun, and it is something that I'll find myself like casually playing every now and then, and see even where the channel takes it with that. But let me know what y'all think of Pokemon Champions. Do not listen to Twitter, and if you haven't played the game yet, play the game, because why not? We're not talking about Pokemon Showdown here. We don't care about that. We're talking about Pokemon Champions. It's its own game. It's fun. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Deuces. Peace out.